First idea is, if you have a puppy who likes to carry a toy, you have a great training tool. Every time your puppy picks up that toy, you're going to say, good girl, good boy, what a good puppy. You're going to keep that up as long as the puppy has the toy in their mouth. When they drop the toy, you're going to be silent. And when they pick the toy up again, you're going to go back to, what a good puppy. You are so good. What a great puppy. You're not feeding, you're not treating, because that will teach them to drop the toy to get the treat. Just quiet praise for your puppy holding the toy. When your puppy is holding a toy, it is so much easier to pet them. They have the toy in their mouth, so obviously they cannot bite your hand. If they drop the toy and turn their mouth towards your hand or your feet or your ankles, you immediately stop petting them. One way to help your puppy not to bite ankles and feet when your kids are playing soccer or running around outside, sit down on a blanket while your kids are running and racing around the yard. Let your dog enjoy a Kong or feed them some treats so that your puppy knows that when kids are moving, they stay still. Kongs are great also to work with handling exercises. Handling exercises are so very important, so as your puppy is sitting on their blanket working on their Kong, you can touch them on their head, their ears, their body, and that also helps them to know that they're not going to turn around and grab your hand. And you're going to teach your puppy to sit. Start off with a treat, lure them into a sit. Mickey, sit, good girl. And reward. They're still sitting, you're going to reward. The reason you're teaching the sit is so that you can move around and your dog does not bite your ankles and feet. Mickey, you're going to start off teaching your dog to sit, and then you're going to add movement. You come? Good girl. And your puppy's going to learn to sit, and you're going to feed them. And as they sit, they're learning to walk up to you, sit, good, and sit, which is what you want. And you can move around a little bit. Nikki, come. And ask her to sit, good. And you can move a little bit more. Your feet are moving, your dog is moving, and they're not biting your ankles and feet. So then you start playing a game. You move away from your dog. Let them follow you a little bit. And then sit. Good, good girl. Nice job. And they sit. They learn to follow you and sit. And then you run the other way. And you ask them to sit. And so what they're doing is they're following you and they're not biting you. But just as important is exercise. So if you have a sprinkler and your puppy loves to run through it, that's a great way. Or a kiddie pool or a sandbox to put a little bit of water in to let your puppy paddle around in it. All of that is good to help your puppy have physical exercise. Here's a puppy pushing a really big ball around the yard. And for that puppy who likes to carry things, take an old leash and tie it to the toy and just move it an inch and then a couple more inches and see if your puppy likes to run after it and grab it. If they do, you have a great game. You can move the toy, puppy chases it and grabs it. Then you start to move more. Turn and move a few steps away as you're dragging the toy. Then run a few steps away. Your puppy is learning to redirect their mouthing to an appropriate toy, not biting your ankles and feet. We have to be sure that your puppies don't get too tired. If they get too overly tired, they will be more bitey and more mouthy. And there are always those witching periods, devil dog, or whatever you want to call it, the zoomies, where your puppy is just wound up and they're going to be more likely to bite and nip at you. So make sure you're prepared. Have that Kong ready. Or take them for a nice play out in the yard. Then bring them in and give them their Kong so they can relax with you in the evening. So what do you do when you're playing with your puppy? Everything's going well, and all of a sudden they turn around and they grab your feet or they grab your ankles. Well, you turn, you face them, and you ask them to sit. And you get them to look, or you get them to give paw. Use that sit. Make it so reliable that when you ask your puppy to sit, they're going to drop everything and sit. Leave some comments below. How do you stop your puppy from biting your ankles and feet? Please remember to subscribe and ring the bell. Thank you from Joyce at Diamond Dog Training.